Hi there guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Hookey and today this is my wish list for FM25, which I would like. Obviously doesn't mean they're all going to happen, pretty much they won't, but this is my wish list which I think I'd like to see in the future. If you want to see any more of me, I am doing a series with IB, as you can see on the screen, where we've took them from the third division or tier, whatever you want to call it, all the way up to La Liga, and we're trying to get into that European spots and the, as you can see, we qualified for the Europa League. So let's get into it. These are no in particular order, so we'll just hit them off one by one. So first of all, I'd like to say is more description to an owner's background. So where's he made his money? Has he been in fashion, food or drink, or airline company, or whatever? I'd like to see more information on the owner, not just a name. I'd like to see just a little bit more on that front, just a little depth, details of the game, what gives it a bit more better life in the game. So yeah, first one for me is description and background of owners and how wealthy they are and how interested they are, because you see it all before where it'll just go, right, clubs up for sale, where there's no inkling or anything, it's just bam, like that. So yeah, I want to see a bit more of that background for my first one. So for my second one, I'd like to see where you could choose your next year's sponsor for the shirt, and you can have like 3 different options. So you can have an airline company that's going to offer you a 5-year deal, where in total, I've got it written down, 55 million overall, which works out 11 million pound per season. And then you can have a clothing brand what offers you a 3-year deal, which works out 30 million pound in total, which 10 million pound a season. Or you could have another one which is a food and drink, what's a 1-year deal for 20 million pound, where you get a bit more. So, and you get that choice, because obviously if you sign up for a 5-year sponsor when you're in League One in England, and then you get into the Premier League and you're still in that sponsor, it don't reflect to the reputation that you've built to regards to how much you're getting paid for that sponsor in the league you're in. So I'd like to see a bit more of depth of where we could choose which one. It ain't got to be brands and anything like that. You could say airline company or whatever we want it to be. It could just be that. So yeah, I'd like that sponsors to be in the game. That would be a massive boost for me. Number 3, pretty easy. We've seen it around on the pretty much a lot of the wish lists over the last 3 or 4 years, where we want a stadium editor. We've seen it back in the day, LMA manager in PlayStation. I think it was 1 or maybe 2, where you could choose the stadium. So you'd have the current stadium, you go, do you know what, we're going to have to turn that from a 2-tier to a 3-tier, and so on. And you could just design your own stadium. And I think we're in 2024, this would be a 25 game. We should have the ability to do that and have more. And there's nothing worse when you're starting off with a lower league club and they get, say, right, you're taking them all the way to the top. I did it with Stratford Town this year, and you take them to the top and they say, right, we'll build a stadium and it's going to hold 15,000 capacity, and that's the max it can hold, or 20, and then you're like, yeah, that's good, but then you're going to need to build another new stadium for when you hit the Champions League and these dizzy heights, and it just burns out and it comes out of need so quick. So I feel like you should have more of an input on that, and like I say, design a stadium and have more of be more involved in them conversations, I think. So yeah, for me, stadium editor's got to be in there at some point. Another good one that I've seen around as well is a youth team manager. I'd love to start off in the lower youth sides of England, like, I don't know, Portsmouth, under whatever it is, and just start there instead of going straight into the first team and then building your way up. I'd like to, like I say, get your badges, build your way up, deal with the players that you get given. Obviously, players will get taken out to go into B teams or reserves or under 21s or even the first team, and you've got to deal with that and juggle it all. And for me, I'd love to have a go at that. I don't know if it's everyone's cup of tea, but I'd love a bash at it, and I think it just adds a bit more depth to the game of when you see your career, but over the years and the story you've gone, the journey you've gone on, it adds more to it. So yeah, for me, adding youth coaches into the game would be great. And whilst we're on the subject of youth teams and coaches, I would like to see more under sides. I'd like it to go down to under 13 sides, and you could have under 13, 14s, and you can see, even if these players are greyed out, I'd still love to see it, because, well, not even greyed out, just regens, and you can see the development, and I just think it'd be much better. How many times do you hear, like Jadon Sancho, he started off at Watford and then Man City stole him when he was young. And you hear that so many times, and I'd like to get more of that so you can have these young kids who's got potential in your under 13s, 14s, and you've spotted them early and you can put them in there so they have that pathway up to the top. And I think that would be so much better. So yeah, from under 13s, under 14s, just more youth sides into the team and have that pathway all the way to the first team would be much better than just the under 18s and 23s that we get now. So for this one, I'm going to just cover it all in one kind of sentence, and that's just better AI. I think the amount of times we've seen the AI, it just doesn't work. It's not realistic in times. You can see Man United buy a wonder kid for 20, 30 million pounds, put him in at 18 years old in their under 23s, and he'll sit and rot in the under 23s. There's no AI saying, right, he needs to go out on loan or whatever. He'll just rot there. They've bought him because they saw the potential. He rots there and he's a waste. Or I've seen it before where Ollie Watkins will have a smashing season with Aston Villa, gets all the goals, all the assists, signs for Chelsea, and he doesn't get given a chance at Chelsea. And you think you wouldn't spend 70, 80 million, whatever they bought him for, just to not even give him a chance off the bench or start him for like 10 games or so and see if it even works. They just sit, he's doing well, we're going to buy him, and then leave him. It just doesn't work. And yeah, so there's a lot on AI that you could go into. I'm not going to dive into it deeply, but just overall, I'm hoping they will sort this one, but better AI definitely needs to be in FM25. Another suggestion I've already seen around the community is this, where regen faces get AI faces. As you can see, this is a regen. He's not got that horrible face model that they get given in the game. There's an actual program out there called New Gen Manager where you download the Facepack and it will assign the right face to the right player. And look at this, that looks so much better as a regen player, especially when you get late in the game. As you can see, I'm in 2048, so this player was born in 2028, so he's not even alive yet in real world. And look at it, you'd think he's a real person. And for me, I feel like the game should incorporate that. And I'm not saying they've got to get the exact New Gen Manager or something, but I think they could go down the route of something like this, definitely, because the faces they've got at the moment, it just doesn't work, it's broken. So for me, get better faces for regions. But for my next one, this is quite a small one, and it's someone that bothered me for absolutely years, and it really does grind my gears. And it's this. So the overall balance is 13 million. My transfer kitty is 17 million. Well, just under 18. If I take that transfer kitty and spend it all, it puts the overall balance in minus because it comes off that. And I think these two should be split as one. So if I spend the whole 17.8, it's not, I'm still going to have 13.7 million in the bank. I think these two should be split. Absolute grinds my gears, and it always has done. So yeah, for me, just split these. Easy fix, I think. Just get it done. Another feature I think that should have came into the game a long time ago, if I'm being honest, is starting the game with a manager that's already in real world. I can't see why this has not been done yet. So if you want to start his, I'm not a Villa fan, but I'll keep going back to Villa for whatever reason. But if you want to start his Unai Emery, you go there and you carry on the great job he's doing. Or if you want to be Steven Gerrard in Saudi and see how you get on over there and earn his. Another one for me, sticking on interactions, is use interaction with agents a bit more better. I feel like the agents are in the game, but they're not really having an effect on him. So if you build up a good relationship with an agent, you should be getting a better deal, or it'll be coming to you more with better offers and stuff like that. And vice versa, if you have a bad reaction with an agent and he holds that against you. So say if Man United come in for a player and they're offering 20,000 and he's happy with 20,000 at Man United, and you say, you know what, with the previous history, I paid 4,000 for my and higher fee payment, you should pay it because I build that relationship. And I feel like I just know but every detail, a lot more that is part of our 4 agents on Mac now, especially one. So yeah, I think that should be definitely in the next video. Another great feature I think that I'd love to see in the game, just me personally, is obviously you've got the bird's eye view. I would love a dugout view. We're playing a manager simulator game. Let's view it from the manager's eyes and see how we'd get on with that. I think that'd be great. I think it's all in there, really. It should be in there. It should be in there from ages ago, as in, it's such a simple idea. It should be in there. Another one that's been wanted for absolute years is better in training. Better training, as in, I'd love to watch again, not even from the dugout, just over the 2D, over bird's eye view or whatever. I'd like to watch training. Obviously, you ain't got to watch it all. You can skip it if you wanted, or let your assistant do it. But if you wanted to do it, you can really do it, and you can watch it. You can do rondos or training drills, shooting drills. Another little feature I think they could put in, I think all these are pretty much easy to do other than the stadium editor, but one little feature I'd love to see is the data analysis coming up to you during games and giving you a bit of good feedback, a bit of feedback where it helps you, and you go, actually, that's a good idea. So you can say, we're getting overrun in centre midfield, why don't we drop one midfielder back in defensive midfield, or we can't cope with two strikers of their two strikers, so I think we should switch from a back four to a back five. Another suggestion I've come up with is team days out. Now, you can only, I've written down that we can only have 2 of these per season, so if you're going for a final and you want to like boost morale, you take it for a day out, and you could have a list of days out. Some of them will work, some of them won't, depending on your team, but you could have a say, right, or maybe at the bottom of the league you're struggling to get a win and you just need to boost morale just to try and get a point. So this one is a really easy fix, and I didn't know it was in the game until a couple of weeks ago, where if you're coming against the manager, you want to see the head-to-head, obviously, of the teams, but you also want to see the head-to-head of that manager, so you versus that manager. So when it loads, it will come up, but I didn't know where to find this. Obviously, it's in Data Hub and there's other ways, but I feel like, you know, when you're coming up against the team and it has the match preview and it's got the scout report, it also should say your record against that manager. So this is me against Xavi out in Barcelona, and you can see it's got my record from when I was at Stratford, where we played him in few finals and I'll beat him in few finals. This is all wrong, by the way. These are all wrong. Obviously, I got the win there, so I beat him there and stuff like that. I beat him in that final there. But also, when I've came to Ibiza, it carries on, and I think that should be more in that inbox where you could have a look, or maybe on the schedule page where there's a button. This is where it is now. It's in the button. I click there and it takes me to that head-to-head, but I feel like you should see it on maybe the match preview or something like that, and it says, look, this is your record against Xavi or anyone. Eric Ten Hag, Jurgen Klopp, Pep Guardiola, and you can check your record history, especially when you've been in the game like I am in 2048. You want to see if you've come up against this manager before, if he's a new regen manager, where did he start off? Have you played against him when he was in the lower leagues? Because obviously you're not going to take note of that. So yeah, I'd just like to see that bit more easier to access that information, a button and more, or something in the inbox. Another little feature I'd love to see is interaction with officials. I think they're in the game. Well, they are in the game, but I think they're not used properly, and it's just there's no data to them. There's just shows you their matches that they've done over recent times, and I feel like you should have an argument with them, or they can, like I say, if you've got that dugout view, you can look to the right or the left and you see that fourth official, and you can say, you can probably have a go saying, look, I don't agree with that decision, and it could justify it, and then all sorts of things. If you don't agree with it and you think it's over the top and everything else, I think they're using some massive part of the game, especially if involved in this still. So I feel like we should have the game. So yeah, interaction with officials. And for my last one is media revamp. I think the media's grown since FM put it in the game, and I think it has more interaction with football now than ever than before, and I think it should be in there. So that is my personal wish list for FM25, and hopefully we get to see as many of them as we possibly can. If you like the video, please hit a like on the video. Subscribe if you want to see my series where I do take Ibiza from the bottom to the top. We've just won the Europa Conference League, and we are going to try and get in that Champions League spot for now. And then we'll probably move on to Italy or somewhere. I've already done it in England with Stratford, where I took them from the region leagues all the way to the Premier League, won it won the Champions League. It's all in my series. If you go to my channel, subscribe, and you'll find it there. But yeah, please subscribe. Helps the channel massively. I'm trying to grow the channel. It's a brand new channel. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you very much for watching.